Our top story today, that fast-moving wildfire in northern British Columbia. It's called the Parker Lake Fire, and as we've been reporting, it is closing in on the community of Fort Nelson. BC Wildfire Services telling us it's grown to 52 square kilometers now. It was 41 square kilometers just last night, so it's already grown in the overnight hours, and it is getting ever closer. We're getting some new and breaking information from the mayor of the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality, which includes Fort Nelson. Mayor Rob Fraser is with me live, and I am so grateful for your time under a lot of challenging circumstances. Mayor Fraser, welcome.
Thank you, Heather. Good morning.
Good morning. Listen, just people looking at our image for the first time, haven't seen Fort Nelson. Just explain what everybody's looking at in the background to you, sir.
So in the background to me is you're looking right down the Alaska Highway at mile 300 of the Alaska Highway, looking right down the center of town.
Okay, and we can see the smoke in the air. I do want to ask you about that, but number one, how close to you and how close to your community of Fort Nelson is the fire right now?
Well, from the west edge of our community, that fire's about a kilometer and a half away.
So that's closer than it was when we left off our calculations last night. It has moved overnight 1.5 kilometers away. And what is the expectation? Is it still moving in the direction of your community?
Well, everything will be weather dependent. The forecast that I hear is that we're going to get a westerly flow, which could bring the fire closer to the community. If it gets up to like it was on Friday when this started, it will be into our community.
And how soon could that be?
Yeah, there's lots of things that come into that. There's some fields between us and there, so that could slow it down. But if we get 40-kilometer-hour gusts, it won't take very long.
So some fields, so a little bit of a fire break. What's happening as far as the firefighting effort to keep it away? Are you doing things like, I don't know, I'm always talking about control burns and building those fire breaks, with the heavy machinery, digging those ditches and those trenches to keep things away. Are the fire crews doing that kind of activity?
Yeah, all of those things. We've got the air assets of the BC the BC Forest Service are on site. They're bombing it. They're dropping water with helicopters. We've got local crews with cats and equipment building fire breaks. The ground personnel are out there. Our firefighters from all across northern British Columbia, as well as the wildfire service firefighters are out there on the ground, mopping up where we can and really trying to keep the fire away from those high fuel areas.
Yes.
So it's all hands on deck. And everybody is doing their best.
And do you feel that you have all the assets you need at this point to do what you have to do?
We never have enough assets, but we're 400 kilometers from the closest town, and if the wind comes up, this will be over before anybody can get here. So we're doing what we can with everything that we've got in the community. We've got some great contractors here. They've got some excellent equipment. They're out there doing their best. And you never have enough when you've got a fire, impinging on your community this closely.
No, for sure. Talking about the size of your community, I think 3,400 was the number I was using, and another 400 of the First Nation, Fort Nelson First Nation nearby. And when the evacuation order went out, mostly everybody did leave. But the last number I had, Mayor Fraser, was about 150 people have decided to stay back. And there was a very strong message for them to get out while there was still a way to get out. What are you hearing in terms of the number of people who have stayed back? Are they still there, or what's their status?
Yeah, so there are some people who have decided to hold in place and do what they can to protect their own properties. I think that message that we sent out yesterday through yourselves and everybody else, got to some people. We saw 3 buses go out of here with people on them yesterday. So I would say the number is less than 100, though that's it's not an accurate count because, some of these folks who want to stay don't answer their door. So we're not sure exactly how many, but, we've got a system where when we do our door knocking, we put ribbons. So we know how many households there are and, you can average that out. But
Okay.
We sent about 50 people out yesterday, so I'd say we're under 100 now.
So that's good. And with that highway behind, I can see there still is a way out. So that's good. But I know the warning was there may not be a way out. So hopefully that message is getting clear to the people who are staying put for now. What about yourself? I mean, for you and the fire responders, the emergency responders, are you staying there in the community despite this danger?
Yeah, we moved our non-essential personnel and our emergency operations service about 200 kilometers to the south. myself and the CAO from the community stayed to give some leadership where we could do that. Needed the civilians, him to the staff that are left doing the firefighting. These folks are professional, and when they say that it's time to go, we'll be leaving right with them.
Well, you take care of yourself in the middle of all of this for sure in your role as mayor. Can you just talk to me sort of personally, watching this community under threat, level maybe 1 to 10? What is your level of concern about your home community this morning as we speak, sir?
Yeah, I'm very concerned but optimistic that we've got a lot of people out here. So, I'd place it at about a 7. It's the fire's not burning out there. That'll probably take my stress level up a little bit when I see flames, impinging right next to the community. But it's smoke, and that smoke does a little bit to hide it, and makes you a little less anxious.
Okay. And what about the smoke? How is it for you just breathing, and for those fighting the fire in these conditions? How is that?
Yeah, if you'd have been here an hour ago, you'd have never known that there was a fire in this community. Woke up to a beautiful blue sky, sunny, no smoke. But as the sun has come up, the fire has started to burn a little bit harder, and we're starting to see a tiny bit of a westerly flow, and brought the smoke right back into the community. It's hard on your nose. If you stand out here for very long, it starts to burn. Your eyes will start to burn a little bit, and I think if you have any kind of weakness in your lungs, you'll start to see pain in your lungs. It's that bad.
So is there anything else we should know as I let you go? The things that you're going to be really, we're having a little problem with your picture, but hopefully we can get you back. Are you still there with me, Mayor Fraser?
I am still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I just lost your picture, but I'm looking at images of your community. Just before I let you go, anything else that we should know before we conclude our conversation? Anything else that you're going to be really preoccupied by today?
Yeah, I just really want people to stay out of the Alaska Highway, stay out of the northeast part of the province. Although it might be a beautiful looking blue day, we're still at significant risk here. And we just need to focus our safety efforts on the firefighters. We don't need folks, trying to get up here and look around where we have to try to look after them. As soon as we're looking after people, we're not looking after the fire, and we need our efforts all on the fire.
Listen, I take my hat off to you for your leadership and wish you the best in these firefighting efforts. We'll stay in touch for sure. 1.5 kilometers from that community, you see right over Mayor Fraser's shoulder. Thank you for the time today and for this new information. I really appreciate it, sir.
You're welcome, Heather.
Okay, we'll be in touch. Rob Fraser joining us from just outside Fort Nelson, BC.